folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living out here on the new deck enjoying one of our finest days of the fall. We're in peak season right now with the leaves and the weather is absolutely perfect today. It's probably 75 in the sun. I think it's probably our last nice day before it starts dropping down into the 50s next week. So really trying to enjoy the most of it being out here on the deck. But in this video, I want to show you a little bit of what we're getting to enjoy. Now that we're up on the deck, we actually have a great vantage point to view one of the benefits of living in the mountains, a lot of wildlife. So I've captured over the past year or two, a lot of this wildlife that frequents our area. So I wanted to show you some of our favorite footage of the moose in the area, elk. We have bears, but I have not got one on camera myself. But I also wanted to go over a couple of the cameras that we're using to capture some of these. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I wanted to do a little review of a couple of pieces of equipment that we're using to catch the best views of wildlife. 3 days this week we've come out for a morning walk and we've come across elk. And I just heard one of them bugling, unless it was a hunter, but nobody really hunts like right on the trail anyway. There's 100 other places to hunt, so pretty sure it was the real deal. Maybe we'll see one again this morning. Of course, whenever you break the camera out, you don't see the actual animal, even though I'd seen them twice earlier in the week, but plenty of tracks to show you guys. Lots of elk walking around back here on these trails. Fortunately, earlier this summer, I'd caught some on camera. Kind of a bad recording here, but they got those white butts. Not only was there elk, I actually saw a moose yesterday, so those look like moose tracks to me, a little bit more round. I don't know, could be an elk, but they're kind of big. So here's our furry little buddies that we're used to seeing. Although, however, this year we didn't really see as many moose as we're used to seeing. They haven't really been around the house much, so a lot of this footage is from last year. So we get the big bulls. They eat a lot of the aspen trees. It's really fun to kind of watch them. But when they get up close to the house, you want to make sure you're inside for sure, because if there's a mama around, she will come after you and chase you down. But they love to eat those little saplings, those little aspen saplings, and they eat the leaves off, so they can really destroy and do some damage to your scenery if they get a hold of them. But you know, it's definitely one of the pleasures of living up here, and now that we have the deck, we can view them from above, and it's really cute when you see those babies. They just they're not too scared of much, not too skittish, except when they get up close to the beehive and get a shock, then they take off running. But interestingly, the moose tracks resemble more of like cow hoofs. They're a lot rounder. They're not pointed at the top, so they're more like a circular, rounded track. And this is one of my favorite pieces, a little bit jumpy here, but it's one of the bull mooses in the early spring walking around. Is definitely one of the best shots that I've gotten of our local moose. Of course, one of the things I wanted to get going was setting up a game cam so we could catch animals, but really we were mostly catching things like hummingbirds, and sometimes at night we would get lucky. This one is more of like, I think that's a deer. If you look up close, and that leg's there, eating the grass, and then we got some deer running through. I think this one spots the game cam, turns and looks. Maybe the infrared light went off and he stopped and looked, a little baby buck there. And then another nighttime deer picture. We don't see deer very much during the day. And one of the other animals I haven't been able to successfully catch on camera is our local bear. We've got plenty of bear tracks. I catch them in the late spring, and we know they're around. I've got photos from other people on our Facebook group. And, you know, they can be a nuisance in the area. They're often getting into trash and bird feeders and dog food, so people always have to be careful about the bears. I think the most wild animal, the one I hope I never see in person, is the mountain lion. This photo is from our neighbor's game cam, which is right near the corner of our driveway. This was caught the end of last August, and
Yeah, it looks like a mountain lion to me. Long body, smooth, long tail, and those eyes looking right at the camera there. So we know that they're in the area. They are responsible for taking lots of dogs, neighborhood dogs, unfortunately, even livestock if people have chickens or something like that. So these are, you got to know your surroundings and be aware of the mountain lion, because that is a reality for us up in the mountains here. So just thought it was kind of cool that, we actually got one on a game cam, and I'd like to set up our game cam. Maybe we can catch a photo ourselves, or a little video. That would be really cool. So that's what I got for you guys for our game cam footage. But next I want to go through some reviews of the cameras that we're using, and pair of binoculars that I thought were a really great deal. So guys, this is the game cam that we're using. It is the Apeman trail cam. It's got motion detector. You have infrared light and a lot of setup on the inside, so you can program whether you want to capture still photos or moving video. Usually I set it on the video setting, and that way it captures about, you can choose either 10 seconds or 30 seconds of footage for when it detects motion. But, so the trick we're trying to figure out is where to put the camera. Where do we place it on our property that we're most likely to get the best viewings of wildlife at night? So we've had it in different places before, like on a tree facing the trail in the woods. And after being up an entire winter, we caught about 27 vehicles on the trail, 1 moose and 1 coyote. So not a lot of wildlife, but a lot of action for people using the trail. That's not exactly what we want to capture. So then we moved the cam to on the driveway. Mostly because we were trying to do a little bit of security footage for when we were having a lot of subcontractors come through. But then again, mostly we caught the dog. We didn't really get that much wildlife when we had the trail cam facing the driveway. So when we moved it around again, I moved it towards a tree facing the beehive, because I thought, well, a lot of times moose will come through that area, and I wanted to make sure no bears were coming and trying to get into the beehive. But I really didn't capture anything when it was in that location. Too much grass, I think. So we'd love to hear from you guys, our viewers. What do you recommend, or where have you had success in capturing really good quality game cam footage? What types of areas do you look for when you set up a game cam? And what has been, what have you been successful with? So I'd love to hear that. I think our neighbor's been really successful having a short post next to a water supply. So he's got kind of like a little spring on his property, and he puts a little game cam on just like a 2-foot post, really pointing towards the water. So when animals come towards the water, he seems to capture them there. But we don't really have a water source like that, so I'm just trying to think of other ideas. So we've been pretty successful capturing, some good video footage of animals just as they're coming through. But I think there's a lot more action that's happening at night that I would like to get on the camera. Especially, there's a fox that's really elusive. It just, it'll show up in the middle of the night and start making this cry that's not canine and it's not feline. It's just like this weird, it's like a screech. Kind of weird, but someday in the middle of the night when I hear it, I'm going to try to get it on video so I can share it with you guys. But I think it's a fox. Anyway, there's one more piece of equipment I wanted to share with you. This is brand new. Since we've been living up here in the mountains, we have this great view and vantage point, but we've never had a set of binoculars that we could view it with. So I've been on the hunt for binoculars to kind of catch, what's happening on the other side of the mountain, or is there some animal activity in the woods that I can't quite see. And one of the companies that I've purchased equipment from for the camera sent me a special email, a special offer for their new product, which is binoculars. So I want to show those to you guys. The company's name is Roxant. Not getting paid by them to do this review, but I just was pretty impressed that they came up with such a quality product without a huge cost. So they have a new HD high definition binoculars, and the construction is very solid, and they've got lens caps on the end that are removable with little pinchers. It's all rubber housing, and then there's even a rubber coated cover on this, on the eyeball side of the binoculars. You've got adjusting, you can adjust your depth of your field of vision here by adjusting these, turning these up and down. You've got your right eyeball focusing here and your left eyeball focusing here. And I wish I could show you what it looks like through them, but I can definitely see all the way across the hill really clearly with these. And you can imagine that, you know, a decent pair of really high definition binoculars, maybe somewhere around $100 or something like that. I mean, some binoculars go even higher than that. I've heard, I think my neighbor has a pair that's like $1,000 or something. So you can get some really specialty binoculars, but you know, we're not hunting or doing anything with them. We're not like bird watchers or anything, just something to enjoy that we can use on our property. So I've just been kind of holding off. I haven't really decided or looked around for something. But then this company, I got a special deal, special offer, and they are selling these on Amazon for around $55. And because I had purchased from them in the past, they were giving me an additional percentage off. So I actually scored these high definition, well constructed, high quality binoculars for $33. So really good deal, and now really excited to have something to, you know, not only view the foliage with, but like spot wildfires, keep up with, you know, construction in the neighborhood to see what's going on. So, you know, a lot of fun things you can do with binoculars, you know, looking for wildlife, studying birds, on and on and on. But what a great deal. I mean, it was free shipping with Amazon, of course, so it's hard to believe that I own a high quality pair of binoculars for $33. So I just was a deal I couldn't have beat, and I'm glad that I waited. But I'll put a link to these two products, the binoculars and the Apeman game cam, in our video description. And so if you want to check them out through our Amazon store, you can do that. And if you end up buying them, let me know how you like them. But I hope you guys enjoyed our video footage of the wildlife in our area, and I'll share a little bit of the scenic view this time of year so you guys can appreciate how beautiful it is up in the Colorado mountains in October. All right, we'll see you at the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.